Hello friends and welcome. So we are focusing on balance this week and I did a conditioning video. I highly recommend that you do that one first. You could interlace them together, but you could do one earlier in the week, one later in the week, but they also stand separately, right? For this one, you want to be able to have a loop. And I want to have a loop that I can put around my foot. You can get away with just the two sides of the strap, but if you have a D-ring or some such thing that you can make that, grab that. And then the chair might be a really handy tool for you, okay? We're going to actually start lying down on our backs. But in the nature of trying to make these shorter videos, sorry, I got to move my little mic pack here. Where am I going to move it? Boop. Sorry, I'm trying to make these shorter videos. The one thing about it is if I want to get into the heat of the matter in a shorter time, that means we have a little less warm up and cool down, which I don't love, but let's take just a few moments lying down here. I'm going to have my feet on the ground, feet wide, and lean the knees in. You could go for full extension. Again, we won't be here too long. But just take note of the body, right? Softening the muscles of the face, the throat, the neck, shoulders, arms, hands, and fingers, chest and upper back, and scanning down, evidently I'm going to fall asleep, scanning down through your middle rib cage area, down to the belly and the low back, hips. Check into those hips. We're going to be working a lot with your hip joints, your glutes, your pelvic floor, the low belly, that corset. So this region's going to really come into play today. And then letting that move down through your legs, all the way down to the feet and the toes. Find that soft belly breath now, because it's probably just going to get a little harder, if anything, as we start to move. And then put your feet on the ground, knees bent, and your feet are hip distance. So my friends who are wider, walk them back in. You're going to take that loop in your strap and you're going to put it around your right foot. Yeah? I'm going to put it around the ball mounds of my foot if I can. Gentler version, left foot is on the ground. A little more intensive is that left leg extended, flexing the foot, pushing the foot into an imaginary wall. Now I'm going to grab my strap with my thumbs facing down towards my forehead, and I'm going to grip onto that strap reaching overhead. Again, if you need the double strap method, that works. And I'm going to go so I'm just a little bit above the earth. Your foot may be further away, and that's totally fine. Yeah? But I'm going to actually just start to open up the back of my leg by really gently pulling back with my arms a little bit and then releasing, right? So I just kind of toggle back and forth between that. And I like to invite people, to notice what's happening. Is your left leg flopping out to the left? Is your right hip jerking up to the right shoulder? As always, I don't know about always, as more often than not with me, can you stabilize the rest of the body and isolate this so it's just the femur bone, the ball moving in the socket, not the socket and the hip moving. And then the next time you pull back, you're going to release the arms and try to reach them down towards the ground if you can. So I'm sliding on mine quite a bit rather than killing my leg. And I slide down until I can reach my arms overhead. For a lot of our bodies, we lift our ribs up off the ground, so can you soften your ribs back down even as the arms extend overhead. That left heel pushes forward, that right heel pushes up. Now push more through the ball mound of your right toe, and if you can see your leg, notice how that hugs the outer leg line, and there's a big old muscle that turns on over there. Awesome sauce, right? And then go ahead and you're going to bend that knee, release that strap, bring the left leg in, strap the left foot, boop. Put the ball mounds into that strap, that loop. Heel pushes up. You might be further away. That's totally fine, right? And then I'm going to grab with my thumbs down towards my forehead with my fists, one over the other. And I'm going to slide back with straight arms until I am, I'm probably about a foot, about a ruler's distance or a little over away. Maybe that right leg extends all the way out to straight. That's the more intense version. I'm pushing my heels away, pushing through the ball mounds of my big toes, right? And then I start to rock that leg. So I pull my arms back, that pulls my leg closer, and that is, if you can't feel that, that's the back of our legs usually, right? Start to go, oh, hi, good morning, mama. Maybe yours don't call you mama. And then the next time you're over, stay over. Maybe you release down a little further on that strap, slide down so my leg stays in, right? But my arms get closer to the earth. In my body, I personally have to ask my low floating ribs to stay down or they will come off every single time I lift my arms overhead, right? Pulling the kneecaps up, pushing the heels away, pushing through the ball mounds of the big toes. If you did that conditioning video, that's some of that work, right? And then go ahead and bend the knee, release that strap off of the foot, and go ahead and switch legs. Bring the right foot in. Now you can use the loop, or you can go double strap with this one, but put it in the same place. Left arm's gonna tee out this time. Right foot pushes up, right, at about a 90, but maybe you're further away, and that's okay. Now from there, and if you're a toe grabber, feel free to grab the ball mounds of your big toe. I'm gonna work with the strap and teach with the strap today, right? Keeping those thighs moving into your block. Let's add that in, right? Pushing through the ball mounds of the big toes. Pushing, yeah, you get where I'm going with this? Everything we've done this far, and keeping those inner groin turned on. I'm gonna let my right leg start to move over to the right without dropping my right heel forward towards the foot side of my mat. And I want my arm to be pretty straight because eventually we're going to be grabbing, we're going to be doing this on one leg, right? We're going to try anyway. And I don't want that left hip to rock up off of the ground. So I'm going to keep that left hip down, down, down. I'm going to hug my right glute in a little bit, and I'm going to really push my left heel into my standing wall, my imaginary wall, so that I can start to work that line for later. Coming back up through center, bend the knee, release the strap. Put that loop or your strap around the ball mounds of your left foot. Straighten your right leg all the way out. My right arm tees out and my left hand gets as close to my leg as it can, my foot, with my left shoulder staying on the ground. That's the exception to that, right? And then from there, again, I push my right foot into an imaginary wall because later we're going to be standing on it. So really focus on that right side more than you do your left side right now. And really keep that right hip down, 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 down. Don't go so far if you rock up. That's just a knee tweaker is what that is when you're standing on your feet. That can damage knees with time, right? And we push our heels away. We push through the ball mounds of our big toes to hug our outer ankles in. That's from that conditioning work that we did. And bring that all the way back up. Bend the knee, release the strap, right? And just pause for a moment with the feet on the ground. I'm going to suggest maybe just a couple of cat-cows. My hips don't lift, and I just tilt my pelvis a little up, a little down, and just kind of roll through that sacrum and pelvis area. And then let's do one twist before we come up. Tee the arms out, walk the feet wide, and let the knees windshield wiper back and forth from right to left, and just start to open up the pelvic and low back area. I mean, for me, I also feel this in the front of my thighs. Today it's going up by my right low ribs on the right side. So even the stuff that we do so often, if we take the time, it's such a good way to explore, yeah? Because I can tell what shifts in my body and what's not as it usually or often is. Come back up, you can grab the backs of the knees and rock yourself up, or you can do that one where you sit on your hands and you do your teeter-totter. That's my personal favorite. Okay, and we're actually gonna come right up to standing. So you can just go ahead and bring yourself on up. Again, you know, I have limited time to try to get us into some of this balance. So now, standing on 2 feet, you'll use the strap again, but not quite yet. Tree pose is such a beautiful way to just start to play with balance in a gentle way before we go into those bigger poses. So I want you to really feel that right foot rooting down. Both feet, but the right foot's going to be the one that's going to stay on the ground, right? So push into the inner edge of that ball, the ball mound of the big toe, so that you feel that outer ankle hugging in. You'll get so sick of me saying it, but you need it, right? Every time you're like, oh yeah, that one. And then hug the glute in, move into your imaginary brick so you feel the pelvic floor in the corset. Bend the left knee. Do I have to take this much time with tree? I should already have my foot on my thigh. Not necessarily. Move the knee out without your hips moving anywhere and bring the foot in. So I like to work from stability towards flexibility, right? The other one usually brings us into flexibility, and then we have to try to find stability. One's not better than the other. It's just the way I often work. So wherever that foot is, are you still pushing the inside of your right foot down? right? Are you still hugging your right glute in? And now push your left foot and your right leg together and see if that can't come through the inner groin to the pelvic floor, to the corset, all the way up the spine, through the crown of the head. And maybe your branches play, maybe you're next to a wall, maybe you've got a chair next to you. You can let it be whatever works best for your body. But as soon as you lose that ball mound of the big toe pushing down, or that glute sticks out, I would say you're going to be better off using a surface and working those muscles so they start to learn how to work this line, right? And bring that down. Again, we're not going to break it down too crazy pants because this is just setting us up for the next pose. Put that left foot down on the ground. Weight in the ball mound. Feel the glute, and then bend that knee, and notice how everything wants to shift out of that. So try to come right back into it. Without your right hip moving back, let your right knee move out, and then bring the foot wherever it wants to live. So depending on the day, I'll leave my foot a lot lower. I can bring it all the way up to my pubic bone, good on me, right? Whatever, it doesn't matter. When I do that, I start to lose a lot of these alignment points, or I have to work harder for them if nothing else. So push down in the ball mound of the left big toe, hug the left glute in, move the right foot and the left leg together. Find that pelvic floor all the way out through the crown of the head. And once you have that, maybe then the arms can play, but maybe they don't. Maybe they stay on a surface and help support you here. It's all really quite beautiful. But it's not even like, can you balance? It's, can you keep that outer leg line and that hip hugging in? Can you keep your pelvic floor ignited, right? While you do this. And bring that down. I did balancing poses for years like this, and I could balance like nobody's business and with my toes. And then when I had to shift and relearn that, I fell all over the place, but I'm gaining that strength. It's awesome. Grab your strap. We're gonna stand on the right foot first. You can use the loop again if it feels like that's going to be difficult and you're going to fall over to find it. You could simply have your strap come around the ball mounds with both sides, right? I'm going to try to loop it if I can. Now from there, you're going to go ahead and the same stuff. Find your right foot, ball mound of the big toe pushing down, that knee pointing straight forward, glute hugging in. Move into your imaginary block. Find all of this before you lift, because otherwise it's just going to get harder. Keep as much as you can, even as you bend the left leg, bringing it up, putting the loop around the foot or the strap, right? Or grabbing your ball mounds of your big toe. Stay pretty close to that strap to start, and then get that right buttocks in again, right? That right ball mound down, and maybe that left leg starts to move forward. For most human bodies, as soon as we do that, our left shoulder starts to slide forward. If you were on the ground, your left shoulder would be all the way up in the air. So can you slide that left shoulder back, right? Even as you put the weight in the right heel and get out of the right toes, palm onto the big toe, push, hug that right buttocks in, push through the ball onto the left big toe, right? Drop that left hip down. I know there's 5,000 things, right? Now maybe we start to reach that leg over. So now we're combining the two, but don't let that right hip come what would be off of the ground. Remember when we were on our backs just moments ago? And bring it all the way back in and set that down. Morning or afternoon or evening, whenever you're doing this. Big stuff right off the bat, eh? You could use walls and still work it. I do. I work with props so much, and it strengthens my bodies in ways I could never even touch without them. I have so much respect for props. Pushing down in the ball mound of the left big toe, left glute in, find that inner groin work, right? And then bend the knee and try to keep some of it even as you come down. So I fold forward to get it, right? But I'm trying to keep as much of an eye on it, right, as I can. And then from there, once you sit up, once you upright the body, we'll try that again. Push the ball onto the left big toe, glute in, right? When you're ready, maybe start to extend the right leg out. And if you're already out there, I would invite you, move slower. It actually takes more control of the muscles. So if you're someone who is like, I want to be really strong and I'm a control freak, you're actually going to get more control moving slower. So from there, again, my right shoulder moves way forward if I don't ask it to move back down to what would be a ground underneath me, or if I was against a wall, I could make you do this against a wall, against your back, and that would help find that, right? And then maybe that leg starts to reach over to the right. Now my left hip immediately pops out to the left. I have to really work that left leg line. I usually do it with a wall. I'm not even gonna go full into it, so I can keep that strength in my balancing leg. That's really the leg we're the most concerned about, even though it doesn't seem like it. Bring it forward and release that down to the ground. And breathe. Ah. You can put that strap off to the side. And we've got one more balancing pose we're gonna add into the mix. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna let this just be this video, and then we will, maybe I'll do one more short one where we add it in, but it'll definitely be in the hour-long videos if you end up doing those this week. So go ahead and just cross your right leg in front of your left, or cross your feet over each other and fold in. You could use blocks underneath hands here, right? Inhale, reach the chest forward, and exhale, fold in, and just say hi to that IT band, that outer thigh land for a second. Inhale, reach the chest forward, uncross and recross with your other foot in front. Reach the chest forward, and then exhale, folding in over those legs until you feel that outer, for me it's the right thigh, my left shin is in front right now. Uncross. Go ahead and fold in, bend the knees for a moment, grab the elbow points and just soften in this forward fold. Soft head and neck and all the stuff. And then hands on the shins, reaching the chest forward. Hands on the hips, elbows up, come all the way up to standing. And again, in the trying to keep this video a little shorter, you could add more stretches in if you've got the time, and otherwise we're just gonna end the video right here. And I suggest you do the conditioning one first and then this one, but do those hour-long ones. That's when you really get to dive into this stuff. It's so incredible. Namaste, friends.